that program out, that speakers program, and there's a few slots available if you're interested, or if other people are interested. Please get in touch with me. If not, we'll be sure to see everybody, or a lot of you, hopefully next week at the IAWF in Pasadena. Everett, we might talk a little bit about our next TFRSAC, which we always, for those of you uninitiated into our group, we always have 2 a year. This spring one, April-May timeframe, and then we have a fall one, which is usually at the end of the fire season. There is no end of fire season anymore, but generally it's the latter part of October into November. We've even stretched it into early December at times. So we'll keep you aware of any logistics planning issues we have for that meeting coming up in the fall. And you'll probably hear from us in regards to that in the September-ish timeframe as we work out calendars, everybody's calendars for an on-site meeting in Boise. Actually, what I will say is we plan on continuing with this virtual version, so it will be a hybrid meeting, both on-site, hopefully at NIFC, National Agency Fire Center at Boise, Idaho, and hybridized with an online version as well. And for those of you that can't make it to Boise, it's always nice to be at Boise in the fall, good time of year, and it allows us to re-engage really with each other in a more casual environment, and having these conversations rather than through chat, having them over a beer or a glass of wine at night in our gatherings over dinner and the like. So I think that's where the real collaborations get developed. Although over the last 2 years during the pandemic, we've all grown accustomed to getting collaborations developed over chat sessions, but those just don't really replace the face-to-face meetings with people. So hope you look forward to that, and we'll keep you informed of that. Everett and I and Birgit are going to try to keep everybody informed via a TFRSAC newsletter of upcoming events, key topic areas that might be coming up, various talks and presentations that might be floating around the internet that are of interest to us, such as our various NASA seminar series. There's training opportunities, obviously, within NASA that might pop up on wildfires. There's training opportunities for using Earth observation geospatial data with the Forest Service through GTAC. So we'll keep you all informed of that from the community, and just become generalized what we've been for many years is a forum for the exchange of information, and to try to build partnerships and awareness really with the community, what's going on. And that's kind of summation of what I wanted to really speak about. Everett, anything else? And
can I say one word, Vince? I was taken with your talk, and Everett, I've been so impressed with both of you, how you put this whole meeting together as usual. I go back to 2007 being part of your audience. I would suggest, with what I learned from working with NASA for 7 years, introducing ultralights for ecological remote sensing, is to use probes, small, almost self-contained units that can go out there and explore the realm and come back and report to the generals before you move the Army. That's how I was most successful in getting things done with low-cost technology when NASA was going for the best in the world. So that, I just wanted to add that.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Richard. And it's always been a pleasure having you on these meetings in person and virtual as well. So thanks for all the work that you've done. I think you've done a lot of really innovative stuff out there, and a lot of it I can tell is based on your early experience as a firefighter. And I don't know that I realized that you had been threatened by fire at some point, but I guess I'm not surprised.
Sometime I'll tell you a story about burying myself in a trench and a 100-foot plane front going over the top of me. So, yeah, I feel like I have a responsibility now, having survived probably 12 times more than I should, to come back and help educate people to what we need to do to move into 21st century wildfires, adaptability, containment, coexistence, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and just the community awareness piece. I think you and Gus did a really good job of explaining what all the different pieces are, on a community by community basis in terms of trying to get people to realize the importance of creating safe space around their homes, and also the pushback that you get from people and some of the reasons why.
Well, with our technology and scientific innovation, we have to be able to come up with ways to let people feel part of the process instead of feeling alienated by it.
Right. Or
We'll
having
never get
something,
anywhere.
or having something pushed upon them, and
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I see
Especially imaging.
Right,
We
yeah.
see so much. We see so much.
I see Ed Freeborn has his hand up there.
Hey, thanks, Everett. Hey, Vince, I always look forward to TFRSAC. But I had a question. It maybe your boss there, David Green, would be a better person to ask, but it sounded like and since he's not here, I'll ask you. Sounds like he's looking for really near-term opportunities for doing stuff, or like flying or demonstrations. We're supporting NASA's national campaign for advanced air mobility, and I'm putting together a public safety scenario, and I want to be able to focus on wildland fire. So nominally we're looking at vertiport operations, but to me, if you've got all these aircraft going around in a circle, it just kind of could do double duty as a fire traffic area. So if that's something that you guys are interested in doing, there's going to be some simulation stuff going on this summer, and flying in October, and then possibly setting up for national campaign next year. And I could use some help with trying to do double duty with this vertiport ops, if that's something that you and David would be interested in, and anybody else here, I guess, too. Just got to try, we got a short turnaround on it, and I got to try and keep it manageable.
Right. Yeah, let me highlight. David didn't really highlight too much about what his program initiatives are this year. So the applied science program and the wildfire program within applied sciences was newly funded this year at the start of the fiscal year. And as you know, with all new funding opportunities that come on in a new budget cycle year, so FY22 in this case, those budgets get authorized once the funding bill gets pushed through Congress and President's signature and the like. And we've been having continuous resolution sign off, which means that you can operate, an agency or an entity can operate at their previous year's budget, but no new funding under this supposed new budget plan year is to be spent or allocated until those signature authorities go through past the president's desk. So necessarily, we were supposed to get our new wildfire program funding October 1. That obviously didn't happen until the funding bill was authorized, which finally occurred, I believe, March 15th or somewhere in there. So we all of a sudden had this influx of funding to the new program start in FY22, and that again is for wildland fire applications. So that funding cycle all of a sudden was kind of dumped onto David, and it gave us 6 months to really plan out how we were going to spend that FY22 money on this new program, because you have to have your kind of money committed by generally September timeframe. And so that precluded the ability for us to put out a solicitation under the NASA ROSA solicitations. So community should expect to see solicitation call in the next FY23. What David has done with the funding this year, very good and very strong and innovative, is he's looking for the short-term kind of project development support mechanisms that'll go on for maybe half a year to a year, to test bed some concepts and ideas, and to take our existing funded wildfire efforts under other programmatic efforts at the agency and try to bootstrap them with a little additional funding to bring their applications readiness level and their partnership engagement levels up to transition to operations with their modeling or their concept or ideas. So we're hurriedly reviewing proposals now from the community, and we've got more proposals than we'll have funds this year, but it is that mechanism by which we're starting to try to make some quick spending of investments in short-term endeavors. So it might be an opportunity, but I'm letting everybody know that as well.
So yeah, and it sounded, you know, like you want to try and get some quick wins and stuff like that. You know, we're participating in the national campaign with Space Act agreements. We've got a North Texas cohort going on that's pretty innovative. So if it's something that you want to, it would. We're all doing this on our own dime, so it really wouldn't cost anything other than if you guys wanted to participate. But potentially, could, like I said, it could set up for some flight tests under the national campaign. And then the other thing for Marva, since Joey Mercer's not on here, I'll tell you, I sincerely believe that we gave Joey the idea for stereo because we were briefing on our USDA SBIR before Joey showed up. I remember Joey Rios was supposed to come and brief at TFRSAC, and we were briefing on our UTM for wildland fire air domain awareness before that happened. So yeah, we're fully aware of stereo.
Good. And I will add that what I mentioned was David's program. In addition to David's program, NASA as an agency-wide has been mandated or supported to look at the way all different NASA codes, directorate levels, can support the wildfire issue in the United States. And that funding is to start in FY23. And so that'll involve our research and analysis side of our house and science mission directorate. So it'll be fire research, ecosystems, development research, RNA, and research and development. And it involves our aeronautics side of the house, aeronautics research mission directorate. So they will have their own funding in place to engage with the community on particularly these efforts to focus on airspace integration issues, flight safety, UAS development, and the like. And so they're going to play their role as well. So in cahoots, all of us together across directorates are all engaging with each other to see how we can collaborate and cross-pollinate through our individual agency funding mechanisms to come up with cohesive strategies and cohesive project efforts to go down the same path on a converging path rather than on parallel tracks that you get in stovepipe organizations a lot of times. So I just want to make people aware that if it didn't come through in David's talk about what the various elements of NASA were that are involved in the wildfire program moving forward within the agency, comes from all different sectors of our agency. And David was primarily speaking as the lead of the wildfire program now within applied sciences, which currently has funding in place. And so, you know, his basic tenet is how we're going to look forward to what the new program will look like under his leadership with engagement from the communities. You've seen in the previous workshops we've had over the last several months about what the community's gaps, needs, and windows of opportunity exist for partnership with our agency across the spectrum.
So is David the program manager for the thing? Yeah,
David, the program manager in applied sciences for the wildfire program.
Okay.
So I'm the associate program manager to David. And prior to that, it was Lawrence Friedel, who was also obviously the program manager of the whole applied science program. So Lawrence put a lot of the weight on managing the wildfire effort on Amber, Soya's, and my shoulders. And David then was announced a few months ago moved over from leading the disaster program in applied sciences to being the wildfire program manager for in applied sciences.
Do you know who is leading the NASA-wide effort?
Well, it's kind of a triumvirate of
Okay.
Mike Falkowski, Barry Leffer in R&D. Mike Falkowski's in RNA, I should say, Research and Analysis side of Earth Science Mission Director, Earth Science Division. Mike Falkowski, Michael Seablum, who is leading the technology development arm, and David Green, obviously. So it's really a quadrumvirate, or whatever you want to call it, 4-person lead within our component in SMD, and then PK, who we had speak the first day from the ARMD side, the Aeronautics Research Mission Directorate side of the house, is pretty much championing the ARMD efforts in aeronautics support to wildfire community.
Because it looks like Stereo has gone to live under system-wide safety for ARMD, which is pretty cool. I think that's a cool place to put it. So.
Yeah, and so that'll be a component of the new wildfire efforts, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Vince.
And thanks, Ever, for putting up that graphic. That really helps define. So that top bubble is what I was just speaking about, Science Mission Directorate, which is our Earth Science Division. And under Earth Science Division, there's Research and Analysis side of the house. There's Flight, which is all of our hard iron assets, our satellite assets, our airborne assets. There's Technology, which is a technology development aspect, sensor systems, ground-based systems, modeling efforts. And then there's the application side of the house in that bubble too. And the application side of the house is to take the research and technology or research and development efforts and bring those into operational context with our partners through applications development and partnerships. So it's to move from R2O, we call it, research to operations. That's the role of applied sciences. Hope that helps. I'm sorry to have taken up all that time to do that, but at least provide the community a better understanding of where we all sit in the organization and the funding opportunities coming down the line. So keep your eyes open. And as we said, we'll keep everybody informed through the TFRSAC, through newsletters and various other hot topics that pop up on our radar screen, on all these solicitation calls when they come out, and we'll make the community aware of them.
Yeah, and the other thing is, we may be convening some subcommittees to address specific areas of interest that are more narrowly focused too. I think that's one of the recommendations that's come about just recently to leverage this forum to bring together the right people to address specific more focused problems.
And that's also why we brought in USGS and Burgett, was to provide input from their perspective as both kind of an agency that sits on both sides of the fence in the applications development, but also in the fire research component. So we wanted to have them obviously as a partner to share in any of their outgoing efforts in wildfire research and wildfire applications development as a partner with us in this entity.
Yeah, and Burgett and the connection through Paul Stebline and others there at USGS. Carolyn Vadnais, who's a contractor for USGS, who spoke yesterday. So they're an important partner in this effort going forward.
Birgit, do you want to say anything? We've kind of hogged the time on you.
No, that's quite all right. No, I think I'm speaking also on behalf of Paul and others that, we certainly welcome being able to help participate and lead in this. I appreciate you two letting me get my feet wet with this TFRSAC and then maybe dive full in for the next one, just to be more involved and engaged in putting things together. I have a ton of notes here. As I said, I've participated in this as either an audience member or as a speaker for years now. I've never actually made it in person, so I'm excited to be able to hopefully do that for the fall meeting. But one thing I've always appreciated is that it is a community of practice. So to kind of tag on to what Vince and Everett were saying, I would also encourage anyone who has ideas about what they would like to see at a future TFRSAC meeting to please reach out to all or one of us. If there's a certain topic or new subject matter that you feel should be addressed or would ideally be addressed by this group. As a community of practice, this is your group. So, this is an opportunity to raise that. But I welcome, being able to be part of it and look forward to the next one.
That was very well said, Birgit, and thanks for that. I won't speak for Vince, but you're definitely more on the ball than I am at this point at the end of 2 days. So thank you for saying that, and we really appreciate you being on the group with us. I think unless there's any other hot topics or last minute comments, I would move that we go ahead and close the meeting. And I'll make sure that I send out the links to all the presentations and the videos in case anyone wants to review and go back over. I know I'm going to be going over some of the videos for my own notes. So any last thoughts before we close?
Everett, can I make one final statement? You probably know what I'm going to announce to the group. I don't know if Birgit knows at all. I'm going to be retiring at the end of this year, and we're going to be looking to fill my tiny shoes with somebody to replace me within the TFRSAC, and that's one of the reasons we brought Birgit in too, was to expand our capabilities to help and support Everett in the TFRSAC meeting. And you might think, well, Vince hasn't been around all that long. He's only been with TFRSAC for 20 years. But my work heritage goes back to November of 1980 when I first started at NASA Ames Research Center. So I'm actually in my 42nd year of working with NASA, and my wife is retired a year ago, and got some things we want to do. And I've devoted my whole career in life really to working with NASA and Earth observations, and probably for 38 of those years in the wildfire realm. And it got to be the time for me to retire. And so for the last year and a half, I've really only been working 50% effort for the agency, and taking the other 50% as my own time. And that hasn't worked out too well. I usually end up getting paid for 50% effort and working 100% effort, which is okay by me. But I want to try to change that scenario. So sometime near the end of the year, I'm going to be looking at retirement. I still want to stay involved in groups like this, and maybe Everett can have me back, and Birgit can have me back as MC or whatever for these meetings. So I suspect that next year or this coming fall, I'll see you all at TFRSAC, obviously, and probably and hopefully maybe at future meetings, because I still want to stay engaged with the community, and maybe in a volunteer status, and to advise as need be with what little knowledge I have remaining. But I just wanted to let everybody know to expect a change coming, and it has been a good run.
Yeah, and Vince, I'll follow you up, because like you said, we've been doing this for 19 years now, and I think we've lasted longer than some marriages. And this is actually, of my entire working career, working for the Defense Mapping Agency and then the Forest Service, this activity has been the one that's really kept me going, and I really enjoy this meeting, and a lot of that has to do with the relationship and the interaction that we've had over the years, and the other people that have been with us for a long time through this meeting. And there's a number of people that were on the call yesterday and today that have been with us for a number of years, and it really makes the work that we're doing really matters. And so that's what really makes it pleasurable and enjoyable to engage in these activities and to work with you over the years. So it is going to be, it's going to feel like the circus tent has lost its tallest tent pole when you leave. But you know, as you say, you can continue to engage as a retiree and going forward. But so thanks for everything you've done for this group, and we'll just keep carrying the banner forward.
Yeah, and we'll plan for the fall meeting, and we'll get the dates and information out to everybody when we get that established within our group and the NIFC team.
You guys
So,
sticking around the Bay Area, Vince?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I live up in Santa Rosa, so I'm up in wine country. Take advantage of that a lot more.
So we'll have to catch up when next time we're out there.
Yeah,
God bless you, my friend.
yeah. It's been a ride.
All right, everybody, before we get too teary-eyed here, I guess we'll go ahead and close the meeting, and I'll get some follow-up out from the meeting here probably early next week. And so thanks, everybody. This has been a great meeting. I really appreciate all the presenters and the folks that have listened in and commented in the chat here, and it's been really good. So thanks, everybody, and have a good rest of the week, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see some of you next week in Pasadena.
Thanks, Vince and Everett. Bye-bye.
Bye, Steve.
We'll be talking.
Yep, see you, Steve.
Thanks, Birgit.
Congrats, Vince.
Thank you.
Thanks, Birgit.